Hi, welcome to Narene's Life with MS. This is Narene, and it's time for a Truthful Tuesday. And one of the funny things is that, you know, um, so this Truthful Tuesday, I decided to talk about something that honestly I am very guilty of doing. Just because it's almost like a guilty pleasure of mine, even though I know that I shouldn't do this. But of course, you know, as with all guilty pleasures, we like doing things that aren't exactly good or healthy or in any way positive for us. So why don't I go about and say that? And of course, the fact that there are so many guilty pleasures that I have, I thought that it would be nice to sometimes bring up this topic of guilty pleasures, um, just so you know just so that there isn't one video that is an hour and a half long because that's how long I think all of my guilty pleasures would take in listing out. So I'll just go about it one by one. And so the first one I do have is something that I did end up doing for the past, I want to say 3 hours, right? Maybe it's a lot longer, but I just want to cap myself at 3 hours just because it took um, everything in my power to pretty much put everything down so that I could record this video. And that is just doom scrolling. And I definitely have restricted myself on that, but of course, considering that I did that for the past 3 hours, you know I definitely don't think that it is going very well. So that is one thing that I did want to talk about. And it is something that I definitely need to be a little more mindful of, and of course, um, at least try and curb this. But I don't know what it was with today. I think the fact was that I was able to meditate a little earlier today, and as a result I just realized that there was a lot of extra time, and all of that extra time just went into doom scrolling. And I don't feel very good about it, of course. But apart from that, I definitely realized that those are 3 hours that I could have done doing much better things like sleeping, for one, or definitely being a little more mindful about something else, right? So so I just spent 3 hours doom scrolling, which I should not have done, but it just so happened that circumstances just put the wrong things in the right place. And yeah, I just ended up spending or wasting 3 hours of my time just, you know, literally watching things that I should not have done because, none of it was in any way positive. So I am pretty angry with myself that I actually ended up spending not one, not two, but 3 hours doing it. So that is something that I did want to share about, a truth that I have, something that I'm not very proud of. Definitely something that you know, I aim to curb, because there are better ways of spending that time. Even if it is scrolling, I know that there are better ways to, use that time, even if it is for scrolling other things, right? I could have been spending this entire time, these 3 hours, reading Wikipedia articles or listening to podcasts or doing something that is maybe a little more useful, um, or at least a better use of my time than just doing what I was doing for the past 3 hours. So that is something that, I'm not very proud of, but I think, at one point in time, you do need a little bit of release. Not 3 hours of it, but definitely a little bit of time, right? Maybe I think I'll cap myself, or at least I'll be a little more mindful in the future to cap myself at the 1 hour mark, just so it, does not become as big as it has. And of course, apart from that, as far as things we're not very happy with ourselves for, um, I do realize that I am definitely looking a little more like, uh, you know, I definitely look. My aura right now is giving off more of a, um, you know, more of a trash at the beach sort of vibe, um, which I will get cleaned up. My parents are coming back, so that means that all of this will get cleaned up. So don't worry about that. You will definitely see me you know, um, in my beardless or whatever this is face soon. So with that said, those are not one bitter truths, but two bitter truths that I have and that I am sharing with you right now. Um, because I just decided that maybe it's time that we or at least I share some hard truths about something that I did and something that I'm not proud of. And I know, given the grand scheme of things, given the fact that the last 3 hours I haven't seen the nicest of things, and I'm not even talking about any AI vegetable videos, because I didn't see any AI vegetable videos or food videos. Um, so I do know that this is definitely a lot lower, um, a lot less worse of a bad thing. But yes, I still do want to point it out so that I can definitely run a check on myself to make sure that in the future I don't waste all this time. But of course, with that said, I do want your thoughts on how could I spend all of this time a little more wisely, or what are some things that you do to curb your um, doom scrolling phases. Because today I think something just happened where I just went overboard a little bit, and I'm not very happy with that. So yes, please do share either or please do answer either of those questions with your thoughts, insights, and experiences so that we can get the conversation started. And of course, with that said, this is Naren Safit MS. I am Naren, although I don't look like Naren, but yes, I am Naren. And with that said, here's wishing you a good night, sweet dreams, and I'll catch you tomorrow. Bye.